confidence is something that you don't just wake up with magically one day. It's something you have to work on and build. It's like a muscle, at least in my opinion. Hey, everybody, it is Megan Holly. This is the Taking Flight podcast. And today we're talking about building confidence on a daily basis and how we can work that confidence muscle, because it is just that, right? We sometimes perceive people to have this level of confidence that you'll never attain, and they just have it naturally. And the thing is, that's really just not the case. So we're going to unearth that a little bit today and talk about how we can, on a daily basis, step into building that confidence muscle that for some of us may be flexing already. For others, it may feel like it's been years since it's been in motion. But either way, we're going to walk away from this episode feeling a little bit like we're in control of how kind of confident or, just good in our own skin. Take away the word of confidence, because I think sometimes people will just say, I'm not confident at all, and just leave it there. And it's just like, well, every day you're doing something. At least I know you're doing something that is confidence kind of forward, if you will. You're just not registering it, because if somebody else looked at your daily life, even if it's mundane, even if you feel like it's nothing special, they're going to be like, oh, I can never do that. Even if it's, talking in front of a meeting for, your company. Some people will be like, oh, I don't do that. I just go to the meetings. I'm not the person giving any advice or doing anything. So we all do it, but how can we do it more, better, and with purpose, so that we can find ourselves kind of growing into the version of ourselves we want to be. And we can also see ourselves feeling more confident in everything that we do, right? Doesn't mean it's always going to be easy. I need to kind of just give a little disclaimer there first, that it doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it does mean that when you are up against things that are kind of, I guess, butting up against your confidence or reminding you that you're not confident, that you can kind of still come ahead. So let's dive into these, ways of becoming more confident on a daily basis. So the first one is kind of obvious, but we're not always good at it, because us as humans we're kind of mean to ourselves more than anything else. Hopefully not mean to other people, but also saying that makes me think, why would you also be okay with being mean to yourself, right? If you're like, I would never be mean to somebody for absolutely no reason, why do you do it to yourself? So number one is speaking kindly to yourself, because confidence, right, it stems from the inside. There is no outward potion. There is no outward, way to just like grab the magic, right, pill and take it, and then that's just confident level of yourself. It just isn't how it works. But it starts intrinsically inside. And so our thoughts, our emotions, all of that play into it. So we need to watch what we are saying to ourselves, and again, it's very simplistic, but we got to start there. We have to start with the foundation, because on a daily basis, there is so much time and ways that we could just start really being so cruel to ourselves. And even if it's not like full on, like, oh my gosh, that was the meanest thing, there's little nuances, that we might be saying, doing, that are affecting us. And we just can't have that, right? So the more that we are aware of how we're speaking to ourselves, and we've kind of find micro shifts in our language and micro affirmations we can throw into our days, the better we are going to build this confidence muscle. The more you're going to start seeing that beautiful bicep of muscle, or of confidence, I should say, just building and building and building. So how are you talking to yourself? Do you look in the mirror, and do you immediately upon waking up start picking out that you look older, you got, crow's feet, all these things that we do? That in itself has to shift, right? When we look in the mirror, what can we find that we love about ourselves that day? Even if it's hard, even if we're in a season of just not quite embracing what is looking back in the mirror, what can you do? Oh, I really love how bright my eyes are. I'm really loving this haircut that I got recently, right? It's not vain. It's a starting space for us to start somewhere, because otherwise, like, that's where most of us begin, right? This kind of ongoing flow, let's say, of just negative thoughts. So I'm going to urge you to start looking at yourself differently when you look in the mirror, and then throughout the day, seeing where else you can do it. If you're about to do something, right, for your workday, for instance, and you're already telling yourself, oh, I'm never going to get this all done. Oh, ping. That would be a little, a little moment to think, how did I just say that to myself? How did I just affect my confidence level in what I can actually accomplish today? What is it, right? These little things, we don't register them as much, but they can be kind of the catalyst for just a downward spiral. And so instead of saying, I'm never going to get this all done today, or I'm going to have to work extra to even get to the point of accomplishing all of this, how can we say that in a more positive outlook? Okay, I have a lot to do today and I am capable of doing it. I know I've done some of this, in this time frame before, but let's prioritize. We're going to prioritize these top 3 things and then we're going to move forward, right? So just giving an example, this episode is not about time management, but just showing that like these little moments can be an opportunity to start shifting our language and our thoughts and then eventually the way we operate. Okay, so that's kind of step 1, is to think about how we're speaking to ourselves, be more kindly to ourselves, and be more opportunistic in the way that we operate, because that's really important. Number 2, do something small. It doesn't have to be huge, or maybe you are craving kind of a bigger thrill that scares you a little bit, right? And by that, I mean, right, it could be, gosh, I have been out of the loop of going out on a weekend evening. I don't know, this sounds like really kind of simple, but for somebody that might feel a little bit overwhelming or scary because they think they're too old, like they're out of the loop, it's not fun anymore to go out on a Friday night, right? But maybe do it. Maybe just say, hey, I'm going to go with my significant other. I'm going to go call up a friend. And they might think I'm crazy at first because the last time we talked, it was like, oh my God, like, who can go out? And I'm not saying you have to go out till 3 a.m. and, all the things. What I mean by going out is just like doing something that maybe you haven't done in a while because it feels maybe a little bit like stretchy, or it feels a little, like, ooh, like that's just not my comfort zone right now. Make a phone call that, you've been putting off forever. Put yourself into a situation. Go to a networking meeting. Do something that scares you, right? Change the color of your hair, right? It doesn't have to be anything dramatic or drastic, but like, what can it be that's going to make you go, you know what? I finally did that thing that I really am kind of a little bit scared of, or feeling just a little trepidatious about. I did it. And you're going to find that on the other side of it, you lived, and that you're going to report back here and you're going to say, hey, guess what? Like, thanks so much for the little moment because I actually did whatever it is, and come celebrate it with me. Drop it in the comments. I want to know what you're going to hold yourself accountable for doing, the little tiny thing that scares you, right? It could even be ordering a pizza. I don't know. I used to be the person that did not like making phone calls. Still not my favorite thing. Stresses me out to be like that initiator, right? I don't know, right? But as a business owner, I've had to overcome that. And this is like why I'm here, right? It's a confidence muscle I have built. And sometimes I'm still like, ooh, maybe they'll call me first. Ooh, maybe if I just wait, and like my meeting's at 5:00, but if I wait to call till 5:02, they'll call first. And then it's like, it's still uncomfortable because I have to start that conversation, but this is just real life. This is how I feel. So if you're out there, especially if you're a business owner or somebody who has to make, a lot of interactions with people, you're not alone. But what I know to be true is that I know over the 7 going on 8 years of having my business, I have to do that, right? I can't not do it. Otherwise, I would not have a successful business. In fact, I wouldn't even be here because I wouldn't have made a call or sent an email to have come into a podcast studio, right? Where would I be if I wouldn't have built that confidence muscle? So it could be as simple as ordering a pizza tomorrow night, if that's something that scares you. Just validating that it can be very simple. So again, we build this muscle over and over and over again. And sometimes we don't even notice it, but all of a sudden you're looking back and you're going, wow, I did that with a little bit more ease this time. I didn't think about it all night long. I didn't sweat through my shirt because of this so much this time, right? Which is a beautiful thing if you ask me. So number 3 is kind of my favorite one. Also, I don't know, like 3 is my favorite number. So maybe I'm just kind of biased because it's in this lineup of the steps, but do the things that you promise yourself. Sorry. I got so excited about the 3 thing that forgot what I was going to say. But do things that you promise yourself you're going to do. It's my favorite because for me this year, and if you've listened to any episodes that I've even touched on this, you know it's been super, super life-changing. In the beginning of this year, I wanted to move my body more. I wanted to get into a class where I can find more joy. And I wanted to find more, like, just fun. And I went back to dance class. I've been saying that for years and years and years, that I was going to take a dance class. I was going to get back into that world because it's a world I've been in my whole life, but more on the instructing, choreographing side, directing side, all of that. And I had not been the student forever and ever, over a decade at least. And I kept saying it. Like, literally, I was just talking about this with one of my childhood dance friends. We'd talked about it forever. Like, let's find a place. Let's find a place. Let's find a place. Until we're blue in the face. We never did it. So come January of this year, 2025, I did it. I kept the promise to myself. And it was the best dang thing I've done in a long time for myself because I have moved my body more. I have found fluidity. Some of my ongoing chronic pain, although it's still there, it's changed. It's more fluid. And I know what helps and hinders it better because I'm moving my body instead of using it as an excuse not to do more. I've challenged it and grown. Don't you want that for yourself, right? I've made new friends. I'm going to, literally as I'm recording this, by the time you listen to it, this will be long gone. But as I'm recording this, I'm about to go to New Orleans to something called Slaycation. That is just a weekend of dance and community and friends and fun. And I'm actually speaking at it now too. So it's part fun, part, I don't use the word work, but part, business growth. So what can you do to start making strides to keeping your promises to yourself? And by that, it can be as simple as, I really want to, take a midday break. And this week, I'm going to actually do it. And I'm going to at least do it 2 times this week. Keep it granular. It's like you don't have to have an all or nothing thought. But if we start making promises to ourselves and then we keep them, our confidence muscle builds because we're like, okay, yeah. Okay, I trust you. I trust you again, because we don't trust ourselves a lot, which is really sad because we're our main focus, our main compass, and that trickles out into our kids, our families, our communities, our students, all of the things, our patients, our customers, whatever labels you want to put on it. So if you don't trust yourself, then we're not quite showing up as our best versions. So what can you do to keep a promise to yourself? Pick one small thing and start there, and then slowly continue to build more promise, like pinky swears with yourself that you keep. Okay. Let me know what you're promising to yourself, because I will hold you accountable. I will fervently message back to you and hype it up so that you cannot not do it. But at the end of the day, you are the catalyst to this. So let's go. Okay. So next, we need to bring more joy in our life. So this could come through movement. It could come through laughter. It can come through reconnecting with people that maybe we feel like we've gotten a little distance from. And maybe it's just because of time. And I mean, the age-old joke is, as an adult, you spend more time creating plans that you never do than actually doing it. So what if you just acted on that, right? Like going to a comedy club, going on hikes, like finding some joy in your life, right? For me, it is laughter, it is dance, it is movement, it is family. But like, if you're in a season where you're just doing the most to get through each day, where can you stop and find the joy? Because when I'm in dance class, when I just leave being with my family for a little bit, and we just had like a great conversation or laughed our heads off or whatever, I'm like my most abundant self, right? And so not only doing it, but doing it with intention. So when you're in it, you're not going on an autopilot, because it's really easy with our same group of friends or our families to kind of like rinse and repeat the same conversations or go in and kind of have the same exact interactions. But guess what? When we kind of go in with intention, like, hey, why don't we actually like play a game or like a different game? Or what if we, right? Like go somewhere else different. Let's not go to the same restaurant or the same person's house. Let's change it up a little bit. How can you intentionally bring in more joy? Because when we're bringing in joy and we're being more joyful, we feel innately more confident. We kind of have a little bit of a pep in our step. And if you're sitting there kind of rolling your eyes going, I have literally no extra time to do anything fun, because I get that, especially so many of you are business owners and creatives and, moms, dads, all the things. Like you're so much to so many. But the thing is, we have got to. I find when I'm in flow of more joy and doing things that create more joy and confidence, that I have more time and I get more things done and I am more productive, which then also, as a sidebar, guess what? Builds confidence. I don't think this does anything, but it just feels cool, right? It builds confidence. And I'll even say to myself, like driving home from something that I just had a lot of joy and intention with, I feel so effortlessly abundant. I feel really good. I feel happy. I might even throw out, I feel confident, right? Like whatever it is in that moment. But all these things super tie together. Yeah. And this is not new to my channel and to my world, but we're really kind of thinking about it as like a stair stack of foundations for confidence in this episode. Yeah. So if you listen to other episodes that this has gotten your gears going and you're still feeling like, oh, like I can really move more into my confident self, here's your way. Like maybe this is just the way you needed to hear it, or the time is right for you to like really get into it. So find more joy, get some really good things going for you that just feel great. Put some things on your calendar that bring in joy and physical like shifts, if you will, right? Like laughter, movement, all that stuff can really do something for us. And we take it for granted. And we have this one beautiful life and this beautiful body and this beautiful brain and all these things. And we just kind of like shove it under the rug a lot of times. We're just like, meh, no, sorry about you. So how can we change that? By making these little shifts. All right. So the next thing that we want to kind of keep top of mind, a kind of a habit that we want to put in, and it's very important because even if you think you do it, I know I have to kind of check myself in with this a little bit. We need to do it more. And this is celebrating or reflecting, even if you can't get to like the celebration feeling, reflecting on our wins. And by wins, I mean anything that feels like, I did it. I made it to the other side of that. And, I hate giving examples for this kind of a thing because it's so vastly different on a daily basis by person, right? Just all of it's so different. And so I really want to make sure that, you kind of keep it open-ended. But what are your wins? It can be literally that you got out of bed some days, because I know there are days when I'm like, pull the sheets over my head. I'm not doing it today. So that day, the win is that I actually put my feet on the ground. I got up and I got something done, right? And by something, it was whatever that day brought. And so how can you find little fun ways maybe to reflect? Not everybody loves a journaling moment. Not everybody loves, that kind of a thing. But what can you do to kind of bring yourself into a season of seeing the wins and the moments and the reflections that are beautiful and feel good, right? It could even be that you finally gave the dog a bath, I know sometimes like, our dogs, it's like they've got almost like human-like hair. And so they don't need to be bathed like every day by any means, but they need it, more often than maybe some other dogs. And so it's like that can be like a win, just getting that in, because they hate it too. It's like they put their paws out and they're like, you think you're putting like battery acid on these things when we're bringing them into the bath. But anyways, I digress. But again, that's a win for us. When we get them, they're like feeling like fresh and they're feeling good and they've been brushed out and all the things. Like that is a win. So all that to say is, to build this confidence muscle, to feel, those confidence abs coming through. Yes, the quintessential 6-pack abs in confidence form. It needs to be that simple. It can be that simple. It's allowed, I'm going to say it again, to be that simple. And so what can you do to keep it at the forefront of your mind? Can you put sticky notes around certain areas of the house to make you kind of stop and think until it becomes a habit? I don't know, on your mirror in the bathroom, on the computer in your office. Little things that be like, celebrate for a moment, have a moment of excitement, bring some cheer into your day. Don't just like grind through and not remember that little tiny things, checking off your list, or even saying no to something could be a freaking win. So maybe that's what it is for you right now. Kind of identifying where you held a boundary better than you ever have before. Yeah. Or even maybe it's tied into the previous kind of habit stackers. And it's that you put something fun and joyful on your calendar and you're going to celebrate and reflect on that and be so proud of yourself. What is it going to be and how are you going to let yourself embrace it? So important. So important. I do little happy dances at least a few times throughout the week. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm always dancing throughout the week, but like specific, intentional, happy, I did this. I feel like I won, the lottery in this like moment, right? Like those happen often because that's what makes me feel good. Like just like, or like I'm just like singing or squealing. Like, oh my gosh, we have all kinds of fun ways of doing it in our household that are just kind of that simple, like little like human, like, I did it. So I want that for you. And if you're already somebody who is doing that, can you identify where you can do it even more? Because we can really stack up this confidence building situation when we do that. Okay. And of course, it goes without saying, this last one kind of wraps in kind of our outward existence, right? Because we need to surround ourselves with people who aren't just lessening your value, who aren't negative Nancy's. Sorry, Nancy, if you're listening, but we can't have negativity, right? We need to be realistic sometimes. We need to understand what's in front of us in a human, just matter of fact way. But we don't need to rip it apart, rip it to shreds, not allow space for shifts, growth, change, joy, all the things. So we need to watch who we're surrounding ourselves with and being kind of boundary babes, right? Like find your boundaries within relationships that maybe do feel a little heavier or harder. If you're comfortable having a conversation saying, I'm really in a season where I want to build up my confidence and my happiness and I have goals that I'm working towards. And this is how I feel sometimes. Like, great, do that, right? Do that too. But however it looks for you, find the boundaries where you need to and embrace more people. And if you're in my community, whether it's been for a day or 8 years, you know that the people in my community, I'm very like mindful of it, are uplifters. They are hype people. They are let me celebrate for you type people. So if you're not there, you're not in the spaces where I'm constantly putting content out or connecting with you, come. Because I promise in no time you'll find somebody to follow or connect with or even just like see in the comments that will make you feel that way. I will make you feel that way. But at the end of the day, you have to keep finding and I say collecting, like you're collecting these gems of humans, right? It's like I think of like a little kid like looking for like, rocks. You're looking for the shiny just kind of people who bring like a multitude of beauty to your life. And what does that look like? Who does that look like? And how do you do that more, right? How do you put yourself in these people's lives and vice versa more often and in a beautiful way that really kind of creates intention and breeds beauty, right? It just flourishes. It just flourishes because you have better conversations, you have more people in your corner that see the vision, and even if they don't understand it fully, they see what you see through your eyes and they're there to cheer you on or give practical feedback, like all these things, right? My friends, and like some of these episodes you'll see with some of my favorite business friends, those are the people that really, they'll like call me out if I'm playing small. They will cheer me on when I'm doing big things. They will not feel like there's any competition because one person's doing this and the other person's doing that. Like those are the people we need, right? And so somebody who's like, oh, well, just your little goal or just your little business, those kind of mentalities, while they might be coming from a kind, safe space because they're just making sure that like you're safe in this growth journey, or they don't understand it. So they're like, oh, it's not, it is what they see it to be, but it's not, they don't see the bigger picture. Remind them, like, I'm here. I am so dedicated to growing my confidence to moving towards things in my life that feel like what I'm supposed to be doing. I need you to see, and kind of reflect back some joy about it. These are where these tough conversations can happen in a kind of a lighter, more simplistic way, if that makes sense. So these are our 6 things, right? It starts with speaking kindly internally to ourselves, building daily habits that help us, and then surrounding ourselves with people that help us continue building these confidence muscles. So instead of having that 4-pack of abs, we have our 6-pack of confidence muscles, right? And we can really move forward in a way that feels good. You deserve to feel confident. If you take nothing else from this episode, you deserve to feel confident. It is not vain to want to feel good in your body, in your skin, in your goals. Let's take away that stigma that, you can't be proud and joyful and boisterous in a healthy, happy way, of course, right? Like not taking down other people because of your happiness, but bringing them along with you. So know that you are safe to feel that way and be in that season, because it's kind of our human rights, our human kind of existence to feel all the emotions. And joy shouldn't be one that puts on the back burner. Confidence shouldn't be one that goes under, the rug because it feels too good. And sometimes we do that. When things feel too good, it can feel scary. So we're not doing that anymore. Please know that confidence just kind of like compounds. It kind of keeps building up. It also ebbs and flows too. So you might have things that are new that enter the building that we have to go, oh, whoa, I was feeling pretty good. And now I have to kind of recalibrate. But if we go back and kind of stack up these daily things, we're going to be good to go. So the more that you do all this, the more rich you will feel in your own skin and on your own journey. So have fun playing with it. Find what feels good to you and let me know what you are building your confidence in this season. I can't wait to hear, and I will see you next time.